Okay, today on Book Talk with Bookish Erika, I am interviewing author H.K. Green. H.K., thank you so much for meeting with me today. How are you?
Good. How are you? And thank
I'm
you so
doing
much for
well.
having me.
Of course, I'm glad you could make it. So can you tell me a little bit about your books? I believe you have two books published and one coming out soon. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, so I have two books currently out. They're cowboy rodeo romances, the first two in an interconnected series of standalones. The first one is called The Pieces We've Lost, and the second one is called The Chances We Take. The Pieces We've Lost follows a girl who lost her dad in a rodeo accident when she was a child, and so she swore off rodeo and cowboys, and then um, she literally runs into a team roper at the bar, and she doesn't want anything to do with him, but he's willing to do anything just to have a chance. And the chances we take is about their best friends, and it's a friends to lovers, slow burn, mutual pining. And then I have a third book coming out in just a little over a week on the 21st. It's called Playing With My Heartstrings, and it's a reality TV rom-com. Think The Bachelor meets The Voice set in Nashville. And it's about a country singer whose label is forcing him to star as the lead on a reality dating show to find a music partner. And hypothetically a real life partner, and a publicist for the TV production company who's putting on the show, who, after a video goes viral on the company's social media of her singing, is forced to join the show as a contestant, keeping her identity secret, in order to keep her job.
Oh, very cool. All of those sound amazing. I'm actually a really big cowboy romance fan. And so when you filled out the interest form for the interview, you had put down that you had a couple cowboy romances, and I was like, ooh, I definitely want to chat with her because I love them. And you grew up on a farm, is that correct? So you're kind of familiar with the kind of cowboy farm lifestyle?
Yeah. Yeah, so I grew up in a super small town in Montana. I still live in Montana, but I grew up on a farm, and it was a wheat farm that my parents grow. And so I was on that side of agriculture. I feel like there's kind of two sides of it, the farming side and the ranching side. My fiance, he grew up on a ranch, and his family is a big rodeo family.
Oh, cool. Did you start writing your like cowboy slash road romances before you met him, or did he kind of inspire some of the stories?
It was after we met. Yeah, we met in 2021, and I started writing my first book in the summer of 2023.
Very
His
cool.
dad was a team roper, so I just knew quite a bit, and he knew quite a bit about team roping. But my fiance, he doesn't rodeo anymore, but when he was in high school, he was a steer wrestler. And he actually got impaled by a steer while steer wrestling.
Oh
And so
my.
that's yeah, that's the accident that happens in the beginning of the book to her dad.
Oh
So
my
it's kind of based
goodness.
on that.
That okay, that's super scary and obviously I'm sure a very horrible traumatic experience. But it's also really cool that you could use something very realistic, some like firsthand accounts to write that scene and your story. So kind of cool that they were able to help you, even though that's a horrible thing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to like be laughing about it, like, haha, like this happened, but it was good inspiration for the story. Kind of makes it a bit realistic. I mean, accidents like that are pretty rare, but they can happen. And I feel like I really just wanted to show um just how the realistic I just wanted it to be realistic, and really go into the elements of the sport and really have um everything about rodeo in the book,
I
and
love
just kind of
that.
educate people. Yeah, educate people who don't really know much about it.
I think that is really cool. Like I said, I love cowboy romances and I've read like a good number. But I feel like I can tell when an author at least like has a foothold in the door, or if they've at least been around that world, seen that world. And I can also tell when they haven't and when they're kind of romanticizing and they know what that world is about. So I think that's really cool that you do know the world and you're a part of it, your fiance is a part of it, and you have people who can be like, maybe that wasn't quite accurate. And even if it's a romance book, I like to see more of the realness, like you were saying. I think that that really helps bring the story alive for me.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely just wanted to feel all of my stories, even, I mean, I don't have experience being on a reality dating show or anything like that, but um I just like to have that little bit of authenticity to my writing.
I love that. And I think that'll come through in the writing for sure. So that's really cool. So your first book, The Pieces We've Lost, was recently um, released on Audible. How did it feel when you first heard your story come to life in that way?
It was honestly so cool. I I actually admittedly have not finished listening to it. They sent me all of the MP3s, and when they send them, they're just in separate files on my phone. And I've just started to get into listening to audiobooks. I wasn't a huge audiobook listener before just because I would get distracted, but now I've been listening to so many. But I listen to them on like 1.5 to 2 times speed. So listening to them at one like abnormal speed, I just like I don't know, I can't do it. And it has nothing to do with the narrators because I obviously love my narrators. They did such a good job. It's just me like I'm like, wait, this is like so it feels so slow, but it's just normal talking and I'm just listening to it on 2 times speed normally. But
I
yeah,
think
it was
that's
so
so
cool.
funny. Yeah. Um, I listen to audiobooks every single day. I'm a huge fan, and I realized recently that I listen on a very slow speed compared to most people. So I normally do like 1.1 or like 1.2. And then I had to do a book recently on 1.25 just because I was running out of time and I had rented it from the library and I was trying to finish really fast. And I was like, this is so, it sounded like chipmunks, like just going and going and going. And so when people say they can listen at like 1.5, I'm like, I am really impressed because my brain can't do that. I need like the slow speed. So yeah, I just think that's funny that you're like, oh, it's too slow, and I'm like, it's too fast.
I definitely had to work my way up. When I first started listening to them, I was listening on normal one time speed, and then I went up to 1.25, and now I'm at like 1.7, and I can't listen to anything below that.
Maybe I just need to work up to it. Maybe that's what it is. I probably jumped too fast too soon.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. I don't think that when I started, I could have jumped to that speed. It just felt too too much. But now it's like if I slow it down, I'm like I can't do it.
That's fair. So how did you choose who the narrators were going to be for the book?
Yeah, so with Podium, who is the publisher for my audiobooks, they sent a huge questionnaire and I filled it out based on the synopsis of each book. I got a deal for the first three in my series. It's going to be a 5 book series that I'm planning. Um, and then you list out all of the really prominent characters and kind of give their characteristics and their traits and personalities, and then any accents, things like that, their ages. And I have the same narrators for the entire series. But what's nice about Podium is that they're very collaborative and they want the author to be involved in the process as much as possible. So I had a lot of weight in who the narrators were. They didn't just choose them for me. I sent them a list of 5 male narrators and 5 female narrators, and then they just were able to see who was available. The narrators that I have were both on my list. So it worked out perfectly. But they also sent me some alternate options to listen to as well.
That's so cool. I love that you got the people that you wanted because I mean, I imagine it's pretty difficult to do that. So, first off, congrats on the multi-book deal with them. That's amazing. And that's exciting that you got the narrators that you actually wanted. So, I'm so happy for you. I
Thank
can't
you.
even imagine how cool it would be to hear, like you said, it might be a little, well, you said you haven't finished it, but I think it would be kind of odd to listen. It's kind of like when actors and actresses are like, oh, I don't watch my own movies. I could see how, as an author, you might be like, oh, I might not want to sit down and listen to my whole book. I'm sure you will at some point. But it's really cool that you got the people that you wanted. So congrats on that.
Thank you. I just bought them on Audible.
Oh, I love that.
Admittedly, I just bought my own books. I pre-ordered the second one that's coming out in August. But the first time that I listened to it, I was in the car, and I'm pretty confident that my face was red as a tomato listening to it. I was like, it was so cool, but I was just laughing at like this is my book, this is what I wrote. It was cool, but it was also weird at the same time. Um, and I haven't listened to the spice scenes. I haven't gotten there.
I have had a couple of my author friends say that they don't want to listen to their books because of the spice scenes. They're like, I can write them all day long, but listening, especially if you're not a big audiobook listener, like you said, you've recently gotten into it, it's definitely a little weird at first to hear like the spicy scenes out loud. But the readers will love it, the listeners will love it. So if you don't want to listen to it, you can skip those.
Yeah, I'm just like this came from my brain. I wrote this. I feel like I have those moments. I especially right now with playing with my heartstrings, I'm getting tagged in edits and reviews. And there was uh, this one person posted a graphic with a quote, and I was like, I do not remember writing this at all. I'm pretty sure though for that book, I blacked out for like 80% of writing it. So I don't remember a lot of what I wrote.
Oh, wow. But it's kind of cool that a quote really stood out to them that you didn't even remember writing. Because, authors will often pick out quotes that they use over and over in their marketing. It's something that they think will stand out to the readers, but something that completely slipped your mind stood out to someone enough to like use that to highlight your book. So that's really cool. Even the lines that you didn't think much of are really standing out. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a cool experience. And I've had that experience with the first book and the second one. It's always very interesting to see what resonates with readers and how it's different than what I think is going to resonate. But it's always really cool to see that.
Does that kind of influence your writing going forward? If you see something that really resonates, do you try and incorporate that or kind of steer towards that in future writing?
Not really. I kind of just write what I want and then let the people come to me, and the ones who are going to enjoy it will enjoy it. Um, there's maybe a little things, but like, yeah, I don't really think about it too much when I'm writing. I just kind of try my best to actually get the book done.
And I think that's the way to go. I think you should love what you write and love how you're writing it. And then, like you said, the people will come to you because they like what you're like writing. So I think you're doing it the smart way. I think authors could get burnt out continually only writing stuff or changing their writing to please people. But if you're not loving it, then you're going to get burnt out pretty quickly.
Totally. And I mean, you can't please everybody. You look on Goodreads at an author's book, and one person will say, oh, I hated XYZ about this book. And then another person will say, I loved XYZ about this book. So if you try to cater to everybody who's wanting it a specific way, you'd pretty much just not have a book.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it sounds like you're doing the right things, so that is good. So for the book that's coming out on, I think it's the 21st, Playing with My Heartstrings, do you have anything planned to celebrate the publication day?
It's on a Monday. I'm trying something different and I'm publishing on a Monday. But leading up to release, I'm doing a bunch of Instagram lives. I'm doing a pre-release Zoom party. And so I'm doing a Q&A with one of the girls on my content team is moderating it. And then I made a Kahoot with trivia. So if people want to test their knowledge of my books, they can play that and get the chance to win a copy uh of Playing With My Heartstrings, and then also the pieces we've lost and the chances we take. So that's pretty much what I'm doing is I am doing those Instagram lives. I'm not planning to probably not gonna do a big celebration or anything, and then the next weekend I'm going to North Dakota for a book signing.
Wow, okay. I love that you're doing a lot building up to it. And a lot of authors, when I ask this question, they don't have anything planned, nothing big. And I think it's just because it's so exhausting to write the book, get everything ready, and it's such a relief and scary once it's finally out into the world. But I love that you have a lot going on and a lot to interact with your fans as well. And I think that gets a lot of people really excited when they can actually discuss with the author and, do a Q&A like you said. I think that would be awesome. So I think that's really cool. More authors should take notes from you because I would totally go to any Q&As with authors because I love interacting with them. Obviously, that's why I started author interviews.
Yeah, it's something
um,
new that I'm trying. For my past releases, I did a week of giveaways leading up, but giveaways they can be expensive, especially I was doing signed copies. So I'm covering the cost of printing the book and then also shipping it. But I'm planning to do some giveaways. I just maybe not a whole week of giveaways like I have done in the past, but I do like doing that as well.
I don't think people realize how expensive it is for authors to do giveaways and PR boxes and things like that. I don't know why people don't realize that you do have to cover the cost of the book, any materials that you put in, even a bookmark, you have to pay to get that printed, shipping, all of that. And it's just a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it. And so props to you for doing that. Yeah, maybe spread it out when you don't have so much going on. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. For your in-person events, what would you recommend? What's something that you like didn't think would be useful or something that you didn't think you would need for an in-person event that now you're like, oh, I have to bring that with me?
I started doing trope cards. So I have, they're just business cards that I put the cover and then the title that it's available now, and then tropes. And then I have a QR code for them to scan. So if they don't like reading physical books, because not everybody does, um, I even though I have a ton of books on my bookshelf back there, I prefer reading ebooks. I just like having physical books as trophies. But I know, like, if somebody wants to read my book but doesn't want to buy a book, like, that's totally fine. I'll just give them the trope card and they can scan the QR code and read it on Kindle Unlimited. And I started doing that, and I think that's been really helpful. It also just, if they want to come back or they're undecided, they can look at the tropes and kind of make their decision based off of that. And I think that's been super helpful.
I think that is super smart. When you go to a convention, you see a million books, you meet a million authors, and even if one sounds really good, like you said, you might not remember exactly what it's about. And I love when authors do, like the trope pictures online. So getting like your business card, like you said, with the tropes on it, I think that's brilliant. And that would totally entice someone like me to purchase. A lot of times I've kind of stopped reading the back of the book. That sounds bad. But if someone like lists the tropes out and I'm like, oh, I like all of these tropes, I'm probably going to like whatever else is in that book. So I think that's really smart. And yeah, authors should do that. Just list the tropes. That's what we want.
Yeah, I'm the same way with if I like the tropes, I probably will just skip the back cover. Um and I'll just give it a try. I like sometimes going into books blind and not knowing what to expect. I'm going to Tennessee LitCon in September, and this is another reason why I'm not doing as many giveaways or PR boxes. I'm doing some PR boxes for my content team, so a little bit of the cost is going to there. But I also just like I one, I really like giving people things. So that also leads into two, I have no self-control when it comes to spending. So the other day, I went on Vistaprint and they were doing a sale because they have really good sales. They were doing $50 off orders of $150 or more. And I saw an author who was giving out chapsticks with their logo on it. So I went and I bought 150 chapsticks with my logo on it. And then I bought 50 tote bags with it says Cowboy Romance Book Club. Um, and then I got an invoice because I'm also buying wax melts from a candle company that I just love. Um, and when I had a bookstagram, I was a rep for her, but she's doing candles and wax melts themed to my books. So I bought some wholesale from her. But that was like a $500 day. So
Oh man. All of those sound amazing though. I love chapstick. That's one thing. I have to have chapstick with me. Like I have it in my desk drawer, I have it in my pocket. I like have it all throughout my house because I use chapstick all day long. So that alone, I love that idea. That's super cool. And the wax melts, like product based off of your books is probably like a dream come true. That is so cool. Oh, were
yeah, I
you
was trying to
looking for
see if I
one?
had one. Yeah, but I just organized all
Oh,
of my swag and stuff and it's in the closet. But I had them on my
oh.
desk at one point. I don't have them by me anymore, but yeah,
Gotcha. That's so cool though. How does it feel to have people making product based off of what you've written?
it's really cool. It's one thing for me to be doing it, but it's another for other people to be wanting to have those collaborations. I've always wanted to be in a book box. That's on my bucket list. So fingers crossed that that might happen one day.
That would be really cool. I feel like that would be a dream come true to be chosen for a book box. So hopefully we can get you in one because that would be awesome. Okay, what are some of your favorite tropes, either to write or read, either one?
Okay, I'm gonna do both because I feel like they're different. Some of them are the same, but some of them are different. I love writing slow burn. Give me all the slow burns. Both of my first two books are slow burn. The second one is very, very slow burn, like super painfully slow, but it's also mutual pining, so I love the tension. And then Playing with My Heartstrings, I would say is pretty average, but some people are calling it a slow burn too. Um, but I think as a reader, I don't know that I like the super, super slow burns because I'm like, just kiss already. But I love writing it because I love being on the author side of torturing readers like that. I don't like being on the reader side of it. And then I love writing friends to lovers, but I love reading enemies to lovers. And then for both, I prefer golden retriever, sunshine men over grumpy men.
I love the golden retriever. I think it's so dang cute. Um, and I feel like my husband kind of falls more into like the golden retriever type of guy. And I just love that trope. I don't know why. Like the grumpy cat lady with like the golden retriever guy is totally, I feel like that's kind of our vibe. And I love reading that. I just think it's so fun.
Yeah, that's definitely my vibe too. I'm the black cat. He's the golden retriever. With my first book, the characters are, I feel like I put a lot of myself and my partner into the characters. So a lot of, I mean, there's pieces of me that are in every character, but there was a lot in that first book.
That kind of makes sense because you also said that the main or like the opening kind of catalyst scene was based off of him and his situation. So it kind of makes sense that you would draw more on you guys. But I love that. I think that's super cool to put you guys a little bit of your love story out there.
Yeah.
That's so
I
cute.
mean, our actual love story and how we met could be a rom-com in itself, and maybe one day I'll do that. But it's like different. But I mean, I've told people and they're like, you should that sounds like a rom-com plot.
Ah, you need to write it. That would be cool. Even if you just like don't publish it for the world, it could be a cute gift for him. Like you write it all out and then, find it and print
hmm
it out and stuff. That would be super cute.
Yeah,
Oh,
we went to the same college. We didn't meet until our senior year, but he was the mascot.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could see like the golden retriever guy mascot kind of working together. That's cute. My school didn't do a mascot, so we didn't have like sports and stuff. I went to small school, so we didn't do that. As an indie author, what do you feel like is the best use of your time?
So I feel like in an ideal scenario, the best use of my time would be writing, but I spend a lot of time doing marketing because I do love that. I love the marketing side. I love making social media graphics. Um, Currently, I'm supposed to be drafting the third book in my series. I am drafting the third book, but I'm quite behind on my deadline because I keep making, well, I was doing all of my stuff for Heartstrings just hit all at once. So I was doing that. And then now I'm like, oh, but I want to make graphics that I'm not going to post for a month or two. So in an ideal world, my time would be spent writing, and then probably writing, interacting with readers, making graphics for social media, and then other marketing things. But yeah, writing and marketing. But ideally, writing would be at the top.
I think a lot of people underestimate just how much goes into marketing, especially if they haven't like put their creations, their work, their love out into the world. I don't think that they understand just how much time goes into trying to find readers, trying to get people to purchase your book or download on Kindle Unlimited, and then to write reviews so other people can hear about your book. There's a lot that goes into it. And so I think a lot of authors can probably empathize with how you're feeling, where, yeah, they would love to write all day, but there's so much else that goes on behind the scenes that people don't think about.
Yeah, I don't think when people are thinking about being an author, they don't think about the fact that you have to be a writer and you have to be a marketing manager, and then you also have to be an accountant, and there's all of these things that go into it. I also, um, not for Heartstrings, but for my first two books, I designed the covers. So there's a lot of those things too, like you're the cover designer, you're formatting your own book. Um, yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into it, but the end result is so rewarding.
I love that. I love that it's because it is such a labor of love and it is so much work. But I'm glad that you still feel like it's rewarding. Even after several books out, you're still loving that and still think it's worth it. So I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, unfortunately, we're almost out of time here. So, you said your books are on Kindle Unlimited, and then I assume also like the paperbacks are available on Amazon, and then signed books are available on your website. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So, The Pieces We've Lost is available on Kindle Unlimited, paperback. Some brick and mortar stores might have it, but it's on all of the online major retailers. Signed copies are on my website, and then it has the audiobook out on Audible. The Chances We Take is on all of those places, and the audio, except for the audiobook, is coming out on August 5th. And then when Playing With My Heartstrings comes out, it'll be on all of those platforms except for audio. Don't have plans for an audiobook yet, but hopefully.
One day. But you
Yes.
have the other three. You have the contract and you're working on those. So one day we'll get heartstrings and Audible as well. Awesome. Well, for those who are listening or watching, please go and support HK Green. Obviously, you can support by reading her books, buying them, share this interview, but you can also support by following her on social media, recommending books, and liking and commenting. All of that helps. So hopefully, you'll give her a chance, check out her books. And HK, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Thank you.